Porpoising, Mercedes' big nightmare for the 2022 season, is still, after all the upgrades and FIA new regulation, a major topic full of novelties. Following the complaints Toto Wolff and Lewis Hamilton made since the beginning of this season, especially when the W13's bouncing started affecting drivers' health, FIA released new regulation that will be applied starting from the Belgian Grand Prix after the summer break. However, Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff is still asking for more. Wolff wants stricter decision, and the Formula One governing body actually respond. New requirement and test will be applied soon. What are these changes, and what are the new measures concerning porpoising the federation will be adding? And most of all, when will these changes be applied? Keep on watching, guys. We'll be revealing for you the new regulations and tests FIA will impose on Formula One teams very soon. Guys, if you're not already subscribed to our channel, click on the subscribe button down below. Activate the bell to receive all our new videos. Lewis Hamilton, the 7-time world champion, wasn't actually able to control his W13 since the start of this season. On different occasions and after each race, the Brighton driver complained about the porpoising in his car, describing it of a real kangaroo, until he started having a terrible backache that affected his performance on track. Mercedes had to ask for more new changes to protect its driver's safety. The Formula One governing body responded, announcing officially that rules concerning the hardboard skid block under the car will be changed starting from the Belgian Grand Prix schedule at the end of this month. FIA decided that all Formula One cars will be placing an accelerometer under the car in order to measure the porpoising through vertical oscillations. The car bouncing will have to stay below prescribed value during the races. FIA will be able to make an intervention by voting in order to help protecting the driver's safety on track. Teams will be obliged to respect this decision starting from the 28th August during the Belgian Grand Prix. Some Formula One fans and followers commented on this, saying that this might be unjustified interference from the FIA, especially at this moment of the season. Others consider it as a direct bias to a particular team like Mercedes. The FIA answered that by a release statement in which they confirmed that these decisions are mainly taken for safety matters, and measures are exactly to avoid all kind of influence by teams' disposition or competitiveness. It is the responsibility and the prerogative of the FIA to intervene for safety matters, and the reason the regulations allow such measures to be taken is precisely to allow decisions to be taken without being influenced by the competitive position each team may find themselves in. As this decision came from a safety perspective, the FIA didn't give the chance for teams to vote on whether they accept these proposals. Changes will include a stiffening of the plank skids too, with a bend verification range as well as measures parameter. Mercedes has definitely now passed a long way through the porpoising resolution journey. After all the car upgrades, especially the last ones where Mercedes focused on two major points, the racing track features from a side and the W13 development from another side, the car's performance is remarkably improving from a race to another. Aiming to improve the aerodynamic of the car, Mercedes technical staff and engineers added a new nozzle installed on the length of the car's halo, while also improving the turbulence resulting of the very inclined nose position. The team focused also on reducing the turbulence by making some modification that will ensure the transformation of the air directed into the rear wing into a clear flow replet with downforce energy. These modification comes in a long car upgrade schedule the team have been working on to get the W13 out of the hole. Lewis Hamilton is now capable to manage better his W13. However, the recent medical finding concerning the bouncing made Wolff unsatisfied and asked for more measures to be taken for the second half of the season. Medical reports talk actually about serious brain damage drivers will be exposed to if the porpoising won't be reduced. Wolff commented on this, saying, "I still believe the FIA and all of us must do something about it. Frequencies of 1 to 1 Hz that last for a few minutes can cause brain damage. We have 6 to 7 Hz for several hours." Mercedes rivals didn't take this issue seriously. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner commented on this that he actually didn't see any issues. Replying to this, Wolff stated that the characteristic of the last race's track doesn't actually show the real bouncing of the car, considered as smooth tracks, but the common races will expose the team's driver another time to the health problems. That argument doesn't count because Silverstone, Paul Ricard and Austria aren't exactly tracks we bounce that much on anyway. I don't want to come to Spa or something of the later races where the track isn't smooth as conventional racetrack and we didn't do anything about it. There are still this talk about lobbying in both directions, but what we are talking about here anyway. Motorsport.com reports talk about commissioned medical work made by the Formula One governing body to be sure of the real effects porpoising have on drivers' health. The report confirmed Wolff's statement. The FIA has commissioned medical work on the porpoising. The summary of the doctors that the frequency of 1 to 2 Hz sustained over a few minutes can lead to a brain damage. We have 6 to 7 Hz over several hours. Mercedes rivals who were denouncing Silver Arrow's complaints were actually accused of cheating and will be affected by the new regulations after the summer break. Formula 1 analysts and experts expect that the two leaders of the championship, Ferrari and Red Bull, will be the teams to be majorly affected by the FIA new measures. If you're asking why these two teams in particular, keep on watching. So the RB18 and the F175 haven't lost a Z component on their plank. This guarantees that the car setup won't be lowered, which will increase the ground effect. Since the beginning of the season, Ferrari and Red Bull both work on this concept, which provided the teams with multiple solutions and advantages. On the F175, we can notice that Ferrari's engineering and technical staff use a damper calibrating the front of the car's floor deformation. This makes sure the car setup won't be lowered and maintain few millimeters from the ground. The RB18, on the other hand, used the same concept of raising the ground effect through a minimum ride height. However, the way the Red Bull engineers made this by using a plank with multiple bending levels depending on the track and bumps. This was guaranteed by a sponge pack made with different pressure absorption capacity, protected with a titanium plank from the surface. This concept, taken as solution as considered as cheating, will be modified by the second part of the season. Guys, if you're enjoying this video so far, drop a like down there. This won't be the only decision FIA will be discussing to make new requirements. Following Zhang Guanyu crash in Silverstone, the investigations are still in progress. However, the scene showing the roll bar collapsing during the accident make the whole F1 community expects FIA to apply new tests in order to verify the resistance of the structures. Talking to motorsport.com, Jan Monchaux, Alfa Romeo's technical director, reported that analysis of their team's crash is still in progress. And FIA will be collecting data from the Formula 1 teams in order to localize the real issue and come up with the necessary improvements to apply. The analysis is still ongoing. We're working since the first day with the FIA to try to reconstruct the accident and assess as best as we can. In between, the FIA has asked all the teams to provide feedback and posing several load cases on their respective roll hopes to understand potentially where there's room for improvement. In fact, the car crash, the unexpected way it happened, revealed a huge standard issue, and because safety is always the major focus of the Formula 1 governing body, FIA might be obliged to make more changes of regulations. This will make the FIA agent in situation where they must manage the sport's politics, at the same time maintain drivers' physical conditions and health safety. Talking about this, Monchaux, the Alfa Romeo technical director, added the new test and recommendation will be revealed before the summer break, but after the end of the team's feedback analysis, the FIA is studying the load cases that are being imposed by the rules. You have some vectors where you need to apply a force on the front and on the rear of your roll hope that are potentially not the most adequate for the kind of accident we had, where effectively you have a car sliding, so subjected to forces that are quite flattish and not so much a kind of a vertical impact. So there might be here changes in the future, but I believe the FIA will come back before the shutdown with some new recommendations, additional tests. We have to see what they will draw out from the feedback of all the teams. What do you think about these news, guys? What are the new changes you think the FIA will introduce and tests they will require from the teams in the second half of the season? Will this have an impact on the car's performance on track and of course drivers' standing? Leave us a comment about it and invite your friends to watch this fresh video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.